All right, we are back with another Prize Picks video. This one is going to be for the MLB game tonight. We got Astros versus Rangers, Game 3. So it should be a decent game. We'll jump into the board in a second. Do want to just quickly run over the picks from last time, last video. We had Aaron Nola's Taco. It was pretty easy over. Merrill Kelly got there at 6, but I think he ended up having like 3 Ks in a row down the stretch in like the 4th or 5th inning. So kind of a sweat for Kelly, but he got there for us. Trey Turner, no sweat at all, home run very early in this game. And then Perdomo, I was watching his last at-bat. It was like a 9-pitch at-bat, but he couldn't get there for us. I think that was like the 8th inning, so kind of knew he was done at that point, and they were down like 10-0, so we knew he wasn't coming back from that. But let's jump into the board, kind of go over what we think of today's game. I will say weird kind of strikeouts lines for both of them. I'm kind of staying away from either one. Both kind of hard to predict. Scherzer's coming back after a while, not pitching. And then Javier can sometimes get pulled early for no reason. So I'm kind of staying away from the pitcher strikeouts lines. But I kind of have 8 different plays for you guys, 8 different picks total. 2 picks, like a 2-man is going to be like a power play, maybe my 2 favorite batters for today. And then the other 6 picks are going to be 2 individual 3-man plays. And that will be kind of if you're favoring the Texans or the Rangers tonight, or if you're favoring the Astros tonight. So let's jump right into the board, kind of go over these first 2 guys. First one's going to be Yordan Alvarez. I'm going over, you can check out both these. I'm actually going to go over his fantasy score. Because of the walking potential, especially in the playoffs, some of these guys get walked multiple times in games, sometimes on purpose. So Alvarez is obviously a great hitter. He's been on fire, but let's just go jump into his page here. Alvarez, hits, runs, RBIs. We're going to look at his hits, runs, RBIs just because there's no fantasy score on this app. But 70% of his last 10, he's gone over his hits, runs, RBIs line. Been on an absolute tear for the whole postseason. And then not only all this, but he's also just having a great matchup against Scherzer. You can see here 4 at-bats, batting .500 with 1 home run and 2 RBIs. This goes back to 2018, so just wanted to even look farther back because Alvarez has been in the league for a while. Let's go to here. Max Scherzer against the Astros. Alvarez actually 7 at-bats, 4 hits, so 2 RBIs, 1 home run, batting .571, and he's also been walked 3 times, so just another reason I'm going with the fantasy score rather than the hits, runs, RBIs, but both of them look really good. So I'm loving Alvarez, going to kind of ride his momentum into tonight's game. And then my combo with Alvarez is going to be Cory Seager. Kind of my favorite Texan for today. We're going over his fantasy score as well. You can see he's gone over in 2 of the last 5 games. In one of these games, I'm pretty sure he was walked 5 times. So just keep that in mind for fantasy score. Obviously, his total bases line is definitely an option as well. Runs as well. But I'm liking the fantasy score option. Let's jump into his page. Cory Seager. Not as pretty as Alvarez's, but it's kind of hard to match that. His hits, runs, RBIs line's actually at 2.5, not on Prize Picks, but on other places. And he's got at least 1 in looks like 8 of the last 10 games. So he's been doing something in each of these games. And then I'm gonna jump over here just because Seager has matchups past 2018 as well against Javier. He has gone up against Javier 20 times with 5 hits. 2 home runs and 3 RBIs. So, 1 out of 10 times he's hitting a home run, which we really like to see. Not the best batting average, but again, if you can hit a home run off a guy twice, that's a pretty good option for the fantasy score. So Seager obviously doing his job, been pretty solid in the postseason here as well. Does at least something in these games, and I'm really liking him tonight. So this is kind of my power play, my 2-man power play. Don't only usually give 2 plays. But just this is what I'm going to, going with today. And when I say that, I'm not actually only giving 2 plays. I'm going to give you, I've already submitted this, so I'm not going to submit it here. But let's clear that out, and let's talk about if you like the Texans tonight, if you think they're going to win the game, go with their pitcher, go with Scherzer. I'm going to go to his fantasy score here. 21.5, we're going over. And then kind of a stacking here. This is, again, if you think the Texans are going to come out and win this game and you think the Astros are going to struggle. The 2 guys I'm looking at are Tucker. I almost just said PJ Tucker. Kyle Tucker. He's been not over. Less. I'm liking this a lot for a lot of reasons. Kind of a combo of his matchup and just what he's been doing in the postseason. If we go look at Tucker here, this is the postseason stats. He is, oh, I'm looking at the wrong team. He is batting, in 22 at-bats, he's batting .091 batting average. He has 2 hits, so he's been absolutely horrendous. And then on top of that, against Scherzer himself, he's batting, oh my gosh, where is he? Oh, 6 at-bats, 167 in his career against this guy. So horrible batting average for both of these, 167 in his matchup, and then .091 in the postseason as a whole. So he's been just absolutely in a rut here. So again, if you're liking Scherzer tonight, maybe go under on Tucker as well. And then another guy, more of a scary pick, but Altuve. You could definitely just do this 2-man, but if you want to double that up, I'm going to Altuve's under hits, runs, RBIs. We can bring him up. Altuve is obviously a really, really good player with a really good average, but he's been bad the past 3 games. He's definitely in a rut as well. Under his hits, runs, RBIs is at 105. Obviously, he's gone under this. He doesn't go under this very often, but 50% of the last 10 games he's gone under. And again, the 3 straight. I know he went 0 for 5 in the last matchup as well, because I had his over. You can definitely look at his fantasy score if you think he might have a good game. I think this fantasy score over is something to look at. But again, this is kind of for the stack specifically. If you're liking the Texans tonight and you're liking Scherzer tonight, go with his over fantasy score, which is really low, and then kind of combo him with a couple guys on the Astros for the under. And again, I already submitted this, and I'll show you that in a second. But if you're actually liking the Astros tonight, kind of the flip side, go for Javier's fantasy score. His fantasy score is also low, 20.5, so we'll go over on that. And then if you want to combo him, my 2 guys are going to be for the unders here, would be Garcia, fantasy score at 7.5. You could also look at total bases at 1.5. But let's go look at Garcia. Hits, runs, RBIs. We'd be going under here. The last 10, absolutely, he's been crushing this. So again, like Altuve, he's been one of the hotter players in the league. Or not Altuve, like Alvarez, he's been one of the hotter players this postseason. But looking at the matchup specifically against Christian Javier, we got Garcia 17 at-bats, batting a 118. So that's kind of where this play is coming from. If someone's going to struggle against Javier, I think Garcia is a good bet. And then for our next guy, we can actually let's look at Garcia's averages this postseason as well. I think it's not bad. 258. So he's been pretty solid, but kind of comboing these 2 lines, he's my favorite Texan to go under against in this matchup. And then the last guy, again, you could just do one of these combos or this 2-man. But just to give you guys another option, Semien would probably be my other option. He bats early in the lineup, so he gets definitely a decent amount of at-bats. But again, against Christian Javier, we got Semien, 19 at-bats, 4 hits, 211 batting average, so not the best. And then in terms of this season, or postseason, he's averaging 188, so he has been struggling a little bit this postseason. So these are the 2 guys that I'm liking to attack the unders. Again, specifically in their matchups. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys some options. It is definitely a tighter board for this game. But if you're loving Houston and Javier, maybe specifically, go for his over fantasy score and couple him with a few Rangers unders. And then vice versa, I will show you guys that I did place all of these. Vice versa, go for Scherzer if you're loving him, and take some Houston unders. But again, these are the combos I like. If you're liking that, this is kind of the power play for the video picks, and this would be the other combo if you're liking Houston. And then in terms of videos for the rest of the day, I am traveling. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get a WNBA video out or an NBA preseason video out. For preseason, get the bell on because I post those closer to game times, closer to tip-off, just because those injuries are just so crucial for the games. 30 minutes before the Celtics game last night, Joe Mazzulla goes, yeah, I'm actually going to play my guys like it's a regular season game. And those were easy overs for Porzingis, for Tatum. So definitely helpful to get those later in the day. I know you guys would want them earlier so you don't miss them. But if you get that bell on, get the notifications bell on, you will be able to know when I post that. But again, I am traveling today, so no guarantees for tonight. But that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. and let's make some money tonight. Peace out.